Good morning. It is Monday, May 11th. We are here for our clerk of the board update. Good morning, Caitlin.
Good morning. Oh, went right over the edge. First thing, it's a reminder to the commissioners that the time clock in our office is up and running, and the website for the test portal for clocking in and out is also live. But I do need, Kevin, I have your badge number, so you should be able to clock in online. I'll need Rob's and Cindy's whenever you guys have time. I've signed up to do the train the trainer training. That's a lot.
What does that mean?
That means that they are putting on a training with Tyler Tech representative to explain how the system works and best practices. So I'll be taking that training and then I can teach you guys and the rest of the office how it works.
So to clock in, so when you take like that 9 p.m. phone call, it goes till 11:30. I mean, you have to track it right then, or can you go back in like 3-4 days later and put it in?
I can edit yours. So what?
You can?
Yes.
We can't.
You cannot do manual edits after the fact. So if you were to like clock in while you're on the phone, you can do it that way. But if you
That's
go,
not gonna happen though. That's
Yeah.
like a crazy idea.
so HR's recommendation to the board was to just email me or send me a message and let me know that you were on a call from this time to this time. And then I can add it to your
I don't
guys'
even remember that.
time punches.
Okay.
So that's part of the deal. If we're out doing something that's work related, then we have to make a note of it.
Yep.
Okay.
The more information we can get into the system now, the better it'll be moving forward. So we've got,
Okie dokie.
our office is clocking in now and clocking out. Vet
we
services
first?
is not. We're
Well, other than HR.
Facilities and maintenance is doing it. That whole building over there is doing it. I don't know if there's any other ones that are. But
Does that only apply to departments under us?
no, I believe it goes to everybody.
Okay.
That would be a question for
Yeah.
them. Deputy clerk of the board, I've got 2 interviews scheduled next Tuesday. Those are the 2 candidates that we had looked at. Those are, I only scheduled them for a half an hour this time because we only used a half an hour last time for each one. I have a reminder on here about the Law and Justice Council meeting this afternoon. When I had put the agenda together, I published it as part of your guys' agenda, so if a quorum of the board wanted to attend, it's there. But it is an open meeting also, so it's advertised appropriately. We will hopefully elect a chair and a vice chair at the meeting.
Which one? The one this afternoon?
Yeah, Law and Justice Council.
How long
And
do you
then-
think, how long do you think that meeting will last?
I scheduled it for an hour. I don't know that it'll take the whole time. It just kind of depends on how fast people talk.
Okay.
Tom is wanting to talk about, well, sorry, Tom is not here. He would like them to discuss inmate movement and operations from the old jail to the new jail, since everybody will all be in the same room, except the sheriff's office is not here this week. So we'd given him a couple dates and everybody else on the council was available, so I just went ahead and scheduled it. And
So that's going to be a difficult meeting without the sheriff there, but I guess we'll move forward.
yes, the sheriff, I think, was the only one that was not available from the rest of the council. And so
Okay.
I figured we could schedule it and then plan another meeting and when the sheriff is there. And then we got an invite from Clear Risk. I know Cindy has already gotten the invitation, but they are doing a ribbon cutting celebration on Thursday, May 21st. And they wanted to extend the invite to the entire board. So I brought that today, see if you guys wanted to have that added to your calendar. It's at 4 PM and then they'll be serving,
This Wednesday,
no, Thursday, the 21st.
next week, no, I'm out.
I'll be there, because I'm gonna go to Quincy after that.
Then Cindy, were you planning on attending the ribbon cutting?
Yes, so can you put on my calendar, please?
Yes, I will get that added.
Thank you.
The next thing I have is a Laserfish user group for Grant County. Coming out of that conference a couple weeks ago, I've been talking with tech services and with a couple other Laserfish experts, and we've agreed that it would be really great to have a group of people at Grant County that can communicate directly about Laserfish problems, ideas, concerns, that sort of thing, rather than sending it to help desk and then having the help desk be forwarded to those people anyways. So I had a meeting with Keith and Evan and Brooke DeCover, who's at Renew. Seth was supposed to be there, but he was out that day. So it was just those of us that attended the conference. And we discussed ideas, what we want to be able to offer to people in the county. Because Brooke and I tend to do a lot with forms, which is, one side of Laserfish. And then obviously tech services does a whole lot more of the administrative deep dive kind of tech. But there are lots of times where, tech services is insanely drowning in work. And if it's a forms problem, it's something that Brooke or I could definitely resolve quickly. So we're hoping to get an email distribution group set up that is specifically for people who have questions about something on Laserfish. So rather than them, again, sending it to help desk to TS, it can just come right to the people that would be the ones solving the problem anyways. And then again, if Keith or tech services or something, if they're busy and it's an easy solution, something that Brooke or I can help with, there we go.
Yeah.
And then the hope is eventually to have trainings and Q&A sessions, so anybody from Grant County who uses Laserfish can attend the sessions, they can submit questions ahead of time, and we can have it all prepared so everybody can learn together.
That's great.
The last thing I had on my agenda is to discuss the tourism marketing manager's resignation. And with that also the tourism master plan. So we've received an almost complete final draft of the tourism master plan. We've got the document with the draft watermark removed. We're just waiting on one additional appendix from the consultant and then it'll be complete. So that is something that I believe I would just put on consent for the commissioners to discuss and adopt. I don't know that it would need to be like a public hearing, but we can do it that way if the board wants to pursue that route. I figured I would ask how you guys want to go about adoption of the master plan first.
Are they gonna present the master plan? Or is he?
I haven't asked. He had just emailed saying, have you adopted it yet? And I'd said that we hadn't received the final draft, so no. I can ask him if he would like to attend, but he doesn't have a current agreement with the county,
Yeah.
so.
But it'd be nice if he presented the work he did, right? So I would think he would be willing to. Just see if he will, and then we go from there.
And then Rochelle's resignation. Her last day will be June 30th. I am seeking direction from the board on how you would like to proceed with her job duties until we've hired somebody to replace her. Do you want them to just be a hold, Or are you wanting me or a member of tourism to take over some of those duties?
Were we talking about hiring a full-time employee for that position?
We were, but that job description has not been completed. It'll need to be approved through PMR, application period, interviews. I don't know that you would have somebody hired by the end of her.
No, we most likely won't, and she's not gonna do a whole lot in the meantime, is my guess.
Right.
We
I
just-
would almost do we have 30-day or 60-day?
She gave 60 days, but when she turned it in, it was, I mean, she's already said the date and
I know, I was just thinking, it's like, what is it, $8,000 a month? So if you could just cut it in half and give her a 30-day notice, so you can save $7,000. But just my thoughts.
How much work goes into that? Is that
The
something?
job creation,
Well, just being able to handle her position for a month, here to do it.
I think the majority of the work with the planner's done right now. It just is in the final part, and the tourism did edits. So as long as somebody can submit that to print, then I don't think she's gonna have a whole lot going on other than managing social media or whatever, but we really need to get all of the sign-ons and all of the material. Cause I think she has it all and we own it, so we need to figure out how we get that.
so I'm working on those. I'm working on getting all of that information from her. She had asked if we could purchase an external hard drive for her to move all of the digital
TS probably has
media
one
that we
over there.
have.
Let's check with
So I
TS
can-
and have her do that.
Okay, perfect. And then she's gonna send me any relevant information for passwords or anything, but there really isn't much. I think the only real thing would be the app, which she's got the information for. And she'll forward that to me, but things like the social media manager runs that. And she's a contracted person signed with the county, so we don't need to worry about transferring any information from her to us because we already have it. The one big thing is that there were influencers that are coming through the county to create content. So there was one, the agreement was just signed a couple weeks ago, I think. It's coming through. I think she's coming through this month, so it should be before Rochelle is gone. But there's another one that they were wanting to move forward with, and the agreement hasn't been signed yet, but the person would be coming through Grant County after Rochelle's last day. So then the question is like who the contact person would be, which if you're wanting it to be me or one of you guys or tourism, it's just if something comes up, they just need to have a contact.
I think, for me, I think it'd be better if they contacted you as opposed to somebody on the tourism committee, because I just think that it's better if we have more control over that than not.
Robert, you good with that too?
Yep.
Cindy, you good with that?
Problem I see is we're putting more additional work on you and we don't have anybody helping you. That's my concern.
Yeah.
I mean, we really need to find somebody to,
Working on it.
I know.
I've got a meeting with Rochelle later this week to really go over any of the things that she does that should be considered priority. And then I'll let you guys know what that'll actually look like when I've got a better idea.
Okay. Are we close to being ready to go to print? Or did we get that worked out?
So no is the short answer. When they distributed the final copy or the final draft, tourism replied with a lot of edits and changes, and some of it Jay Ray's response was that some of it we should consider done, consider taken care of, like the fact checking things, the incorrect information. They obviously will take care of that. But there are portions of the edits where they would have to take the page back to design to make changes. Like there's, people had some opinions about the pictures that were used or the layout of some pages. And Jay Ray had said that those kinds of edits would probably cost money, and tourism would like Rochelle to find out how much money it would cost. So she's going to ask, and she'll send it to me when they send a reply.
I personally think it's too late for that. They should have been on top of that a long time ago. Oh. I think it's time to I think it's time to just do it. I mean, I thought it looked pretty good. So
That
that's why we
was,
have a committee. They should have been making those changes long before now. And if we don't print it now, it's gonna be at the end of the year.
they had discussed potentially changing the timeline of the travel planner to be like a July through June kind of thing, instead of it being like a summer guide, which is what they've done in the past.
Which is fine if we do it from the time it goes out till the, to the, full year, an annual thing. That's fine, but, I don't know. We just need to get it done.
Rob, any thoughts?
I agree.
Done? Okay. Cindy, any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really want to bypass the tourism committee or what, the group, but yeah, I do like the 26/7, kind of gives us a little more time, but yeah, I'm okay with moving forward.
I don't really want to bypass them either, but they had an opportunity to make those changes and they waited till the last minute and then wanted changes, and that's where I have a problem with it. And it's gonna cost us additional money if we make those changes, so.
They had just said that they didn't have the final until their last meeting.
Oh, so they didn't see it? We saw it before they did?
No, they saw it at the same time. It was emailed to the
So they're just,
committee the same
like,
time
3
that it was
weeks
emailed
ago?
to you. Yes,
so
and
they
she,
just had issue, but they just waited until their last update or what?
yeah, it sounds like because they saw the first draft the same time you guys saw it, and then they received the final draft same time as you guys. From what I gather, there was not a whole lot of response from the first draft, and then when they received the final draft, there was quite a bit of response.
And is that because they made requests for changes that didn't take place?
A couple of them, yes, but it sounds like some of them, it was,
It shouldn't be that hard to
Just
put a
waiting.
planner together. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if that was your only job. And I'm not talking about tourism, I'm just talking about the position. It's like.
I will reach out to Jay Ray and tourism and inform them that the board would like to move forward with. Which they did say to Rochelle also that some of the changes they can make without changing the design.
Well, I would say if there's those changes that they want, let's have them do those changes, and the rest of them, no sense in changing the whole design just for.
And that's it.
How long is this meeting for?
Half an hour. It's till 9. You have Renew is coming in at 9 to give an update and talk to you guys about that training request.
Okay, good.
And then a reminder that tomorrow is your public hearing for the Dune Lakes vacation of a portion of Viewmont Drive.
We have Public Works tomorrow?
No, you don't have Public Works this week.
It'd been nice to go over that meeting that we had with them last week to see. I think we might continue that hearing tomorrow.
Okay.
Just so you guys know, that might be a recommendation from Public Works to be able to do some more assessment on agreements that were made.
I can contact Andy and see if he can attend one of your guys' work sessions,
Yeah, if you
either
would,
today
he
or
could even
tomorrow.
remote in and just to kind of give that update.
Okay.
Because I think that's what the idea was, but I don't remember.
I will contact him.
Anything else?
That's all I had.
That it?
That's it.
All right. We're going to recess until 9 a.m. Good morning, it is 9 a.m. and we are here for a renew update. Good morning, Dell.
Good morning. How are you guys this morning?
Great.
Have a good Mother's Day weekend?
Oh, yeah. Tried to eat a brunch. I just can't do it like I used to.
Right.
What about you?
Yeah, no, it's good.
Did all your kids come home?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, we had everybody home and then we were over in Othello with our in-laws, so
Cool.
it was great. Some of the report aspects were just to follow up on the contract that was withdrawn last week for onboarding and leadership development. And so just a brief discussion on that was that wasn't leadership training or additional training for our staff. That was an operational response to improve our onboarding process for all new employees, and also to develop a structured leadership system for all leaders, for supervisors, managers, and directors in our department for continued leadership. And so the purpose of this was to, and I like using consultants in this way because it's project-based. And so they'd spend an amount of time connecting us with organizations that onboard really well, that do leadership development really well. And through that process, we get connected with these organizations that do it really well. And then we can develop a plan to move forward. Excuse me. So as a part of that, there's a point when the HR onboarding ends, and then we begin our process. So offer letters and things like that are done by HR. Then they do their training, they come on site, they meet their team, but then the new employee move over to our department. And so it's really trying to come up with a formal process that's structured how we bring in people into the department. Then, and that could be, excuse me, that could be learning about systems that other organizations are implementing and things like that are successful. So really trying to use evidence-based program to support the onboarding of staff. The other component was leadership. One of the things I feel like about leadership development that we do in the county is that we use a reactive approach, I feel like. And that's just my experience in our department, is that we have a lot of leaders that are growing in their capacity. So they're promoted or hired from among their peers and colleagues into a leadership position. And we get down 3 to 6 months down the road and realize, oh, there's some problems here because they're too close of friends with those that they're leading now. And so now we're going to put them in this transition training program to help them develop those skills of working with their peers. And so you see that, or then 3 months down the road, oh, there's this other issue, so we're going to send them to this training. And so what I'd really like to see is us develop a program where we take care of some of these things up front. So before they start their position, they're trained in some of these things that we know are going to be issues. And then they're able to, I think, come in more successfully into that. So we don't allow them to start their position until they've gone through some of this curriculum programming for leadership. So then once you onboard as a leader, then every year you should be improving, because that is what I believe in. I believe in continuous improvement. And so what are the things we need to add into our program? So each year leaders are evaluated, then they're able to pick, and not like a SWOT or not like a performance improvement plan, but they're able to identify what their strengths are and select some areas of weakness that they want to develop. And again, it's not performance-based, it's just saying each year I want to be better than last year. I want to improve myself as a leader. And that really is what this contract was about. It was not about providing additional training. It was about developing structured processes for onboarding and for onboarding just anyone coming into the department, and then providing leadership training or leadership development for those individuals that are coming in as leaders, and we want to maintain those leaders. So yes, I like to use consultants for that work because it's project-based. It allows us to make connections that we don't have. It allows us to implement things that have been successful other places that work, but there's a cost to it. I understand that. I understand that $140,000 is a big cost. In the discussions with Tom, the issues were more related to, Dale, you're doing 8 different types of training for your leadership. The trainings I'm doing for leadership have been the Brian Williams training that we do. And I send them each new leader to that training. That one's $599. And then we have done like the Quest for Excellence conference that I go to. And but there begins to be this discussion about unfairness. That, well, these aren't things that we can do in other county departments. And because of that, it creates an unfair advantage. Well, I guess my standpoint is I realize that the county is having a difficult time currently. I realize that. In the department, if we don't do some of these things, we're 1 year to 3 years away from other behavioral health organizations coming in, possibly purchasing the hospital. So if we don't evolve, we're not going to be in the marketplace to maintain our staff. They're going to choose to go elsewhere. If we don't use these funds to create these opportunities or to pay different salaries or to improve the product that we're giving to the community, then we're not going to be competitive at all in the new marketplace what's coming forward. I don't have to have a consultant. This work could be done with just our staff, of working with our staff. I like that aspect of it, but that was the purpose and the intent. And I think the way that may have been communicated to you was that here's one more leadership thing Dale's trying to do that's going to be this cost to the county. Well, what is this bringing to the county? I still believe that the things that we're doing impact the county, and it impacts the service that's provided to our county residents. Sure, I'm not bringing a piece of equipment or doing something that's going to have this immediate impact. We're building infrastructure to improve the work environment and to improve the services provided. But I just wanted to be able to express kind of my feelings on that I understand the unfair aspect. I understand that there's been investment into leaders in our program that's not available to the other county leadership. I understand that. And I'm not trying to say we're better. I'm not trying to say that we deserve something different. If we don't do these things, it will make it so we're not competitive in the marketplace. If we move away, and that is the message I'm receiving. The message I'm receiving from Tom is that we're done doing this Baldridge stuff. That was an expense. That was something that was done before he was put in his position. I understand that. I'm a good leader. I understand that taking new leadership and adhering to what they want, what they value in the organization is important, and I need to be able to do that. But I also don't believe that it's a choice between one or the other. I think if the county sets strategy, we can use our processes to meet those strategies. I don't see this program going in a different direction because we use these Baldridge principles. I don't view it that way. I think it's going to enhance the culture, enhance the relationships we have in the community, and that kind of thing. And so just the argument there is that I don't agree with, well, you guys can't do that just because it's not fair to everybody. You can't do that because it costs more. My problem with it is that it's only leaving money on the table for us in our organization inside the department. These aren't county funds. They're not taxpayer dollars in the same way that is property taxes. Sure, it comes through Medicaid revenue and service revenue, but it's not the same in that capacity. So I think that does create a advantage over other departments. I see that. But I also think that you've asked over time to hold people accountable, to change our processes, that we're tired of seeing people just come and collect a paycheck. That's what I'm trying to change. That's what I want to do as a leader. But if that's not what you value and that's not what you see as important, then I don't think I'm the leader for this department. I have drive, I have ambition, and I want to provide a better product for our community, for residents of Grant County. I think I've done that. But I'm just trying to find how to work with Tom in this way so that the things we're working on can be communicated to you in an appropriate way that's not just, well, here's one more thing. The other example I have is just the conference we went to for the Quest for Excellence. That became a really big deal. It was a big deal because somehow it was communicated to you that I was just taking a group of my staff to a banquet so I could receive some award. First, that wasn't just any award. That's one of the biggest, most prestigious leadership awards that you can receive for your efforts over at least a 5-year period. This was a team effort. That conference is one of the best leadership programs I've ever been to. The curriculum is based on evidence-based practices organizations are implementing to achieve success that they have. They're using measurement to align their workforce and to have better production. So all of the sessions are built on leadership training and development. This wasn't just a come see Dell get this award at some banquet. That was a part of it. That was a part of the luncheon. But I also thought I would not get this recognition if it was not for our team's efforts. And so for me, just to go accept that by myself would say, I'm about myself. That's not what I'm about. I'm about the team. I'm about the effort they put in. And I believe this award said more about what they've done in the work environment to improve our systems to be recognized in this way. And so that is why I invited 9 individuals to come along so they could be a part of the conference and experience that, but also to be there and for the recognition of what their efforts do. I don't know if you guys had any comments or questions. I'm just kind of spilling.
Well, I appreciate that, but we also have to recognize that you're getting specialized training. That's what this is all about. It's not, I mean, it's not one size fits all. So we can't compare your department with the rest of the county because they do other things that you don't do.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Very fair.
I mean, so, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You're in a complete separate, you're like a separate organization within the county. So I understand the training is going to be different. So, I mean, it's just, when it came across our desk, I think we just had a lot more questions than we had answers.
Yeah, and Dale, thank you for elaborating on what exactly it was because we had no idea. We just thought it was kind of a different training module or, you know, just anyway, thank you. It answered a lot of questions that we had.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Cindy's been to some of those trainings and she can attest to the you know, the quality of those trainings. So I think it's great. What you're doing is great.
Yeah. I guess I'm just struggling with this communication gap. And I'm trying to understand how this has been in part of my weekly report for over a month. But this is the first time there's been like a question. Tom addressed that with me. And I appreciate that. I think Tom excels in the aspect where he works very well with public works, roads, development. But I think learning to work with the human services aspect is also something it's a challenge. And I think he does really well in these other areas. So to me, it's not about his personal leadership. It's about trying to figure out how we run this system and continue to improve it while also understanding that there's a role that he plays too. But I want to make sure that the way it's communicated is coming across appropriately and not just as some off the wall idea that Dell's got to do this thing.
Well, you're in the business. We're not.
Yeah.
So we have to trust what you're doing is the right thing. That's my opinion. And I mean, I think you're doing a great job. And
I appreciate
I
that.
appreciate what you do.
Yeah, and again, I'm not stuck on it has to be this contract. I'm willing to pivot. I'm willing to take a look at how we can utilize staff to develop these skills to facilitate change and to do these things. I'm willing to do that. I'd just like to utilize the consultants because it's an unbiased viewpoint of the organization. yeah, that's really.
Well, I think it's easier because it's not coming from a person on the staff.
Right.
So they don't feel like there's a personal connection there. They're coming from outside and they don't know any of these people.
That aspect of it too. But like I said, I just wanted a chance to communicate that out. I am willing to pivot and take a look at how we can do it on a cheaper basis, just with the understanding that it leaves money on the table, and I can't continue to have year-over-year profits without going back into the system somehow. And that's my biggest concern is what that looks like to the community. We've got to have those dollars keep coming back into the system and providing good service.
What do you do for training and leadership and stuff for people that are early and middle and not supervisors, leaders?
Nothing currently.
So that's the number one complaint I get from Renew.
Yeah.
From your staff is, yeah, the same 8 people are always doing everything. Yeah, they're in leadership. Yep, they went to whatever. And speaking on like the award, like some of that comes from inside. It doesn't, I mean, we don't really make it up, right? We don't know.
You're right.
So it clearly comes from somewhere. And from my experience, it often comes from inside, and it comes from a lot of the middle.
Sure.
And the middle looks at it as like, that's not a great supervisor yet. They're in all these trainings and doing this and that. And
Sure.
now we're here, and what are we? Just nobody. And that gets relayed, you know,
Yeah.
because you bump into, oh, you work at Renew, that's cool. And then it's like, I'd rather not talk about it. It's like, oh, I didn't ask.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, but you say that, so like, talk to me. But that's just been my experience. I don't know if Tom has had similar experience. I don't know if Kevin or Sin, I don't really know. And I don't really talk about it, but I would just say that for a lot of your future leadership is going to come from that middle.
Yes.
And maybe, I don't know, figuring out something that hits those people also.
So for, you're talking about leadership. So for all the supervisors, managers, directors, everyone that's in a leadership capacity, they're being trained in these leadership trainings. They do the Brian Williams one. We did that one because it allows us to all speak the same language.
Yeah.
Right. I'm doing the NACO.
Does that trickle down though to where it's like, yeah, your supervisors, your directors, they're speaking the same language, but what about down from us?
That's our biggest challenge.
You know, like in
Is
our leadership, not that Caitlin's
Yeah.
not leadership in our office now, but you know, like she went through NACO training.
Yeah.
And was just a clerk, I think. So like kind of what we're going through, the lower also goes through.
So same thing. So each, so whether you're a supervisor, manager, or director, they're receiving the same level of training. Aside from that, everybody in the organization that has a behavioral health credential, we pay for their credential and we allow them to do all their continuing education training. So that's something that we pay for as an organization for their ongoing development, right? Where we struggle is that we don't have a way to move individuals along that aren't supervisors yet, that you see potential and you see that they could take on more than they do, but we don't have a way to bring them along. We have a way to bring the supervisors along, the managers along, the directors along, and we've invested over time in that, absolutely. But there is a gap in the department from supervisor to somebody you want to develop. Part of that reason is because everyone else is union. And so we can't just give them functions or duties that will help improve them. But the same opportunities for continued growth and development training has been available to everybody across the board. I think you raised another interesting point in that even though you create these trainings, sometimes it doesn't trickle down. Sometimes you can do like I said, I'm involved in the 5th week of the NACO training. I think it's been great. I don't have an issue with that. That would be a great thing for us to roll out in the department and that be like the standardized process. But if that training, you do the 10 weeks of it, and then 4 weeks later, the people aren't doing it, then that's where that stops.
I think the biggest thing for us with department heads and staff and commissioners is been the importance of just clear communication with each other. I think that's been the biggest thing and that we've taken away from it. There are a lot of other good principles, but I think honestly, like for Cindy and I and for Tom and Decorah and just kind of our normal leadership that we communicate with in here. It's just the honesty with each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's, you know, if I could say anything from NACO, it's just that opening that communication to where it's just kind of like beat into you through that, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you just say what you mean what you say and express it and then discuss it, it's like everything's so much easier.
Fully agree with that.
But yeah, maybe just picking like one standout in each spot and then just give them the option. I don't know how the union works with that. I'm sure somebody union has done it with us, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just challenging because this is what happens. We start to bring along people that we think have potential, then it's favoritism.
Yeah.
Then they're getting more than someone else is getting.
Draw 'em out of
And
hat.
yeah, so we run into those things. It just creates some challenges for us. And we do try to have a system, but again, you're dealing with lots of managers and supervisors and you want to have it all trickle down. And sometimes it doesn't.
But you don't always have a good leader or,
Right.
you
Or
know, all
supervisor.
employees are different.
Yeah, and I think you can have good intention, and this is through NACO as well, is you can have well-intended things and it turn out completely different when it gets to the floor, gets to the bottom line. And so those are things we want to watch.
Which I do think that, you know, a really strong onboarding is part of that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're changing it for the county right now,
Mhm.
so.
And we have a way for staff to, for the most part, I would think they'd feel comfortable if they're experiencing some negative situations. We do our staff satisfaction survey on an annual basis where they're able to even free text what their negative responses are. So I think it'd be good to hear about some of these things that you're hearing from staff so that I know what to work on or I know to improve that. And I think for the most part, you guys do bring that to me and we try to be interactive in that way. Overall, I think the department's doing well. I think the move over to Yanazawa for the admin team created the things we thought that it would for the other space. There's open parking now. We're not having the constant complaints of clients not being able to find a place to park. You do get some comments about, wow, they've got this nice facility over there. So you do have some of that divide.
Both facilities are nice.
Yes, but
Take a look at our spot.
it did create a division there. But we're still visible. We're still making it over and we're still rounding and we're still trying to maintain that same level of visibility to the staff that we've had. It did create some other challenges, absolutely. But that has gone just as planned. Our renovation project for the current Moses Lake building is moving along. We're working on some of the lobby and reception area floor plan change. And this is a refresh for the rest of that building. That the plan currently is for that to still kick off in late August or late September and last through middle of spring of 27. There's that aspect of it. We need to move 2 of our departments into their formal, like where they're going to stay. And but I'm also understanding the jail's a big move. I get that. Like I'm willing to be flexible to our maintenance team and TS on any kind of move. These are equipment moves, they're not furniture moves. But it's like phones, computers, just moving them to a different location. So as far as resource management, I just want you guys to know that that's something I'm flexible to. I want to work with the county on that because I understand the jail move and I don't know when that will be. But
think
I
they're planning
know
on
that's going to be a big lift for everybody.
August.
Okay.
That's the plan.
All
And
right.
I think TS is pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Well, until they get in there and things go wrong, but hopefully they'll have all the bugs worked out by August.
That sounds good. And that's what I have for my report. Do you guys have anything for me?
No, but I appreciate you coming in,
Yeah, absolutely.
letting us know.
Yeah, thank you, Dell. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or
Okay.
and I'll be here throughout the day anyways for for lunch and department head meeting and law and justice meetings.
Sounds good.
All righty.
So
Yeah. Cindy,
for
we're
next
gonna,
week.
Cindy, were you trying to say something? We didn't hear anything you said if you are.
Oh, sorry. Yes, if Caitlin could put that request back on the agenda for next week.
Here,
Okay.
too.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. We'll go into recess until 9:30.
Thank you.
Good morning. It is 9:30 and we're here for Development Services Update. Morning, Jim.
Good morning, Commissioners. So kind of a short update. I don't have a whole lot. I know that Michelle kind of briefed you guys last week on what we have going on. We got a busy week this week. Seems like every week is busy, but wanted to give the board financial update and building permit statistic update for the month of April. So for the month of April, we'll start with the building team. So total submitted building permits for the month, 45 in, 55 out. I'm gonna pause right there. So we, as you well know, we hired a full-time plans examiner that was a building inspector, and we have yet to backfill that building inspector position. But the plans examiner that we hired, Logan, you guys are all familiar with Logan, he's just been crushing it. So not only has he been working through his residential building permits and taking the load off of marine, but he's also been able to dip into and take over and on some of that light commercial work, which has really helped reduce the timelines on the commercial side. So what was 12 weeks, in some cases 16 weeks on for Jerry and Marine are now trending down to 8. So it's just really been awesome to see. So I joke with Logan all the time. I'm like, man, you gotta leave some work for other people to do. So that's why we're seeing those numbers climb in that, we're still trending higher than last year for applications coming in the door. But the applications leaving is up 10 over last month, which is great. Fire marshal permits, as you can see, 15 in, and then planning, 31 in. So year to date, revenue year to date, and this is, I keep talking about the solar projects that we still yet have to have those application dollars in the door, and they're going to be massive. But in 2026, you can see year-to-date totals $575,000. I highlighted year-to-date last year at $407,000. So even without that solar revenue that we're expecting any day now, we're trending well over last year's number. And then on the planning side, we're down a little bit from last year, but at $73,000. Again, just a little bit lighter than we were last year, but we expect that number to climb. So I don't have the permit spreadsheet. I took your advice, Commissioner Burgess, and modifying that spreadsheet so it's not quite so much of an eye strain, and we'll have that modified and ready for you during our next update. So it was a lot of information, probably more than what you necessarily needed to see. So we'll get that thing curtailed down. So outside of that, there's a lot to talk about, but I wanted to take the opportunity if you guys had any questions. We have been meeting, as you well know, we meet with code enforcement monthly, and those meetings have gone great. We have been discussing integrating. We have a module within SmartGov for code enforcement that has been kind of mothballed for several years. That we have in discussions with the code enforcement team. They like the module. We received an estimate to bring it back to life, so to speak. And have their team use it. That estimate came back roughly about $3,000. So we're going to be knocking here shortly to see if we can find the monies to be able to bring that back to life. So that way we're talking to one another, and all of this is recorded at the parcel level. So we'll make a presentation here shortly. And but anyway, it's been a great partnership. So.
Got a question down on Lakeshore Drive. There's quite a project going on down on Lake Shore Drive in the city of Moses Lake. Do they allow you to go down along the lake shore and dig?
They shouldn't be, but they have a different shoreline management program than we do. But it shouldn't, I mean, the buffering is very, very similar to ours, but
65 feet from the low
yeah,
water mark?
yeah. So kind of similar to us. It depends on if it's authorized or not authorized, and if their code enforcement team is on top of it. There's been a change in the at Ecology. So Ecology had a pretty active code enforcement officer that was running around Moses Lake, and that person has left and moved on. So they've got a position open. So they're not been as active. So I think
Thought it was pretty interesting. I hadn't seen it before. They must have done a lot of that work over the winter when the water was down and nobody was on the lake.
yeah,
Quite the project.
yeah, that tends to happen. So we got upcoming public hearing on ADUs. I think next week, I think. So put that one to bed, and then just comp plan. We met with all the cities last week. It was a positive meeting. We're at a point right now where we're doing land capacity. They are doing land capacity analysis. So the city of Ephrata has completed their LCA, and they got to do. It looks like they're going to have to do a little bit of rezoning in order to meet that land capacity analysis. But they're very confident that they're going to be able to make it work within the existing city limits. Quincy's working hard at it right now, but is pretty confident that they're going to be able to make it work. City of Moses Lake, we don't have any numbers back from them yet. We've done our own. The county land capacity analysis is first draft is done. It looks like we have enough available lands, but I kind of challenged the consultant to look at it from a different perspective, because I think that our road standards need to be addressed, meaning just because we have the zoning allowance doesn't necessarily mean that it's able to be subdivided, because we have insufficient road standards to allow you to get to those parcel areas to be able to divide them. So once I kind of burst that bubble a little bit, they're going to go back to the drafting board, so to speak. Also, they need to take into consideration other critical area ordinances that might make development at that level not capable. So, and then we have consultants working on, so Alex is back helping Soap Lake, which is a great thing, where there was kind of a void there, and who's helping them with their zoning, with their land use work. He's also, of course, helping Royal City and George. So those two cities are trending in a pretty good direction from a land capacity analysis. So those are all due June 30th. So we'll have a better understanding of where we sit there.
So I have a question. I have a gentleman that has 10 acres out on Road 10 on Stratford, who is considering allowing us an easement to put in a road to get to some properties that have been accessing it by Euro Canal Road, trying to fix the problem that we have out there. But his question is if he allows us to put that road in, is that going to prevent him from splitting his 10 acres into 2 5s?
I'd like to look at it. I mean, it's hard to say. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. But I'd want to look at it at a parcel level. We've done it before. So out on 8.5, where we have all of those. So along 8.5, we have all those 5-acre tracts.
Correct.
There have been, and we have larger parcels behind it that are also zoned RR1. We have allowed for folks have given away a 60-foot easement through, if their home is sited properly, they've given away a 60-foot easement
To get access.
to get access, exactly, so that we can pop a private road back there. But those are already, of course, divided out. So, but you know, imagining that if that parcel, let's say we've got a 10-acre parcel on 8.5, and the same scenario exists, and that parcel on 8.5 wanted to split in half, and they had dedicated along their property line, adjoining their neighbor, a 60-foot easement to allow for a person behind them to divide, there'd be no reason we wouldn't allow him to split in half. I mean, obviously, the easement is on title, so it would just be part of the recorded instrument when he went to divide. So imagining it to be the same for your customer,
Sounds like it.
yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't be, why it would be an issue, but we'd want to look at it.
Okay. Yeah, I may have you look at that, because then I don't want to do anything more until I know that that can happen. And then I've got to talk to the Bureau about whether they're gonna allow us to put a bridge across their canal to get to the other side, to allow those other 10 property owners to have access down that road.
Right.
That lines up with another county road.
Right.
Kind of a mess.
Always tricky.
All right.
I have not worked on the Breza property with Public Works yet either.
Remind me,
That's the one where they are requiring them to do road improvements, but not the other
Oh.
developer.
okay,
I still need to do that.
yeah, that's the one where we allowed for it to be, so at the end of the cul-de-sac,
Mhm.
we didn't require road improvements, but
Yeah.
on this particular one, we are,
Yeah, that one.
for our real estate agent.
Yeah.
Okay,
I haven't talked to Andy about it yet. I need to. I had told Kevin about that.
yeah, and I was at, a Windermere lunch event on either Thursday or Friday of last week, and there was quite a holdover of questions afterwards. And one of them is, I had a customer that was, who I didn't realize was a real estate agent that wants to re-engage about that RID out off of road. It's either road 4 or 5, and is it road 4 or 5 and C?
Yeah.
Okay. Which brings me back to our road standards, discussion, that maybe now that we have new leadership, and I did actually mention this to Kate in my initial meeting with him, that we there has been an attempt to stand up these RIDs. And I don't know, I mean, I'm out of my league in even saying this, but, we did have for a time, a person in our office who had a lot of experience with RIDs and definitely had an opinion about them. And it would appear to be that the opinion was not one that was positive, that they felt like if there are other avenues outside of an RID, we should probably explore those.
I would agree. Years and years ago, we did one in Cascade Valley on Denton and Harrington.
Yeah.
It was a gravel road. So all of us got together and paid to have the county come in and do oil to gravel. We all paid our share and the county paid a portion of it. I think.
Okay, that was not an RID, that was a cost share, and Sam Castro got rid of the cost share, but that cost share has been in place for, since the 80s, so it was extremely successful.
It was extremely successful, Commissioner Carter?
Yes, I would say it was extremely successful.
Okay.
I would agree. And I think more people would utilize that if
Yeah.
they had it available.
Yeah.
And then the money is collected up front, and so, I mean, it's just, when you get the money, you're done. It just saved paperwork, you weren't, doing taxes or assessments, whatever. I was just, taking care of that year, all the funding and everything was done.
Yeah, you know, in working through it with Juliana, when, in her time that she was with me in my office, and looking through the RCWs of that RID, I was extremely suspicious on whether or not it could even be approved, because there was percentages, and again, I'm not the expert, but there was percentages that needed to be applied to all of the participants along that road, and values assessed, like who was going to benefit and how much were they going to benefit. For example, at the end of that road, if I recall, there's a 5-acre parcel on one side and a 10-acre parcel on the other side. So the 5-acre parcel was not going to benefit at all, because they were not going to be obviously able to further divide. The 10-acre parcel, if they wanted to, could only divide in half. So what were they going to glean? They were going to glean potentially obviously the ability to divide and sell off one parcel, whereas the applicant, the proponent, they were obviously going to be able to divide into 8 or 9 lots. One of the parcel owners along that road had no intent on dividing. They were just dedicating right away. The ag parcel on the corner of 4 or 5 and 7, I don't think was even qualified, because of some stipulations in that WAC or RCW. So aside from it even being estimated wrong and then adjusted, and the original proponent being upset by that, I don't even think that it sounded like it could have even gone through. So, and they're of course asking for a new audience with new leadership. And I happen to be that person that was in front of them that day. And I need to follow up with leadership at Public Works and new engineer. But I think that it's something that we probably need to, if this cost share is, something that needs to be resurrected, and it sure sounds like it works better than what this RID is.
Well, and the other part that they're not reading is the fact that the 3 of us get to decide whether we're gonna do it or not.
Yeah,
It's in that RID. So even though somebody else told them it's all fine and dandy, we're the ultimate decision.
yeah.
And they didn't read that part, or they don't understand it, I don't know, but I think the cost share program would be way better and probably benefit them.
Yeah. And circling back to what I have concern about is again, in my wheelhouse is all of, is this update and all of these available lands that can't be reached for further division because of a road standard that hasn't been updated since 2009, that doesn't allow for those lands to be reached. I mean, the private roads by their road standard cannot exceed 1,320 feet, which is a 40-acre parcel. So anything that is beyond 40 acres cannot be further divided. So if I'm supposed to provide an actual real land capacity analysis that says we have the available lands necessary to support housing, which we're responsible for almost 50% of the housing into the 2045 planning period, and we can't get there to divide it, then we need to probably do something about that. And if that something is, it doesn't sound like it's an RID, but if it's a cost share, or if it's, in some counties, private roads are not under the purview of Public Works. They're under the purview of the fire marshal's office. So
Because of daily traffic?
because of ADTs, right? Because of ADTs, because a private road is a private road. It's not a public road. So it should be, my road, not necessarily Public Works road. So in any event, that's, I think, something that we need to probably
We should look into that.
address, on the, I mean, not tomorrow, but on the sooner side, because it definitely impacts. I mean, I get it. The Public Works wants to have, we don't want to have a bunch of junk roads around here. So they want to establish a standard, but do we have, is that for us to do? You professionally, outside of this career, professionally, if you are selling a 5 acres of land at the end of a kind of a crummy private road, your client knows what they're buying is kind of how I view it, but,
Absolutely, and some would prefer that, so they don't have a bunch of people driving in and out.
right,
You know, some wouldn't. but
right,
At least you have the opportunity to buy it if you have a road. I
right.
mean,
But there are some that believe that that puts the burden inevitably. I mean, I grew up on a private road of 5-acre parcels in Arlington. And there was always somebody, that one person that had the tractor or whatever, that was always knocking down the humps and maintaining that private road. You know, that's inevitably how that country living works.
Which saves us money, because the public works doesn't have to go out there and blade the road or take care of the road themselves.
Right,
So I mean, in the long run, I think it's more beneficial for us, because more tax dollars, less road maintenance. I mean, I think it's good.
yeah, yeah,
And if a person wants to buy, that's up to them.
right,
The road's there, they know what they're getting themselves into.
right,
Kind of like Andy with the landfill out here, you know, that piece of property that we're looking at for that. There's 10 parcels with houses across the street. They're probably not gonna be happy, but like I told them, they're gonna probably sell. The new guy's gonna come and they're gonna see that there's a landfill, they're gonna buy it. If they don't care, they don't care.
right,
We can't worry about that, you know, the landfill is important for the entire county, not just 12 people.
right.
So it's for the greater good.
Yeah, it's when we create parcels in the ag zone, residential parcels in the ag zone, we on the face of the plat, there's a right to farm disclosure. And there's agricultural setbacks, buffering that happens on those parcels. You're in an agricultural community, and it's gonna smell, and it's gonna, you know, and it's gonna be dusty, and it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a lot of things, and you'd be surprised. I mean, no, you three aren't surprised. Other people would be surprised at the volume of calls that you get, and you know, it is what it is.
I agree.
All right, well,
All right, sir.
that's what I had for this week. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, sir. We're gonna go on recess until 10 o'clock. Good morning. It is 10 o'clock and we are here for our assessor's office update. Good morning,
I'll
Melissa.
make it quick. So we're onboarding 2 new employees today.
Awesome.
I met
one-
with them this morning.
Yeah, one is over at HR, the other one was a transfer, so I've already got him out in the field training.
Do you onboard transfers?
No, I was there for a new employee.
No, I have a new hire and a transfer,
I was
yeah.
wondering, because now we meet the new employees.
Right, so
Which is-
since one was already working for another department and was a transfer,
Oh,
they
here.
just,
Oh, okay, okay.
he started at 8 AM in my office and we've already got him
Nice. Where'd they
Out.
come from?
Public Works. Tell him I'm sorry.
Oh, you made them happy though.
Then I have a new hire starting on the 18th and another new hire July 1st. I have my last remaining employee on FMLA coming back on June 1st, so yay. We'll be picking up new construction. I gotta pull the reports and make the bucket list this week so we can get started out picking up new construction. We'll pause our reval. We're at the very end of our inspections on reval. We probably have less than 1,000 left to inspect physically in reval. So I'm shooting to get change of value notices out in the fall. I don't have a specific date. It just depends on how smooth this transition is going to go with onboarding 3 new appraisers and inspections. So that's the hope. That's what we're shooting for. And I don't know what I mean, I know we have a lot of new construction permits, but I just don't know what those numbers look like yet. So I'll know more later this week. But yeah, we're super busy. We're still short-staffed in the office. So we're just rolling with it.
That's about all you can do, isn't it?
That's what we're
Yeah,
doing. That's what Caitlin's doing.
she's like, yeah. You're doing good though. So, that's all I got. Now I gotta go back and
Back to work.
finish, yeah. Gotta go do the other 3 jobs I'm doing.
All right, I guess we'll go on recess until 10:15.
See ya.
See, Rob?
Okay, it is 10:21 and we are here in the commissioner's office for our district clerk's office update. We're waiting for a quorum, so we'll hold tight for another 4 minutes.
You can cancel
So
if
Rob
you
comes
want. I don't have anything, so if you want to cancel, that's fine.
It's 10:22, we're gonna cancel our clerk's office update. Doesn't sound like she has a whole lot anyway, so we'll just cancel till 10:30. Thank you. Good morning, it's 10:30 and we are here for a district court update. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I don't know, did Desiree even put anything on the agenda?
I don't know, but why don't you talk about that event the other day?
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Sure.
that was pretty interesting.
What event?
The Leaf event?
So interesting.
Yeah.
I was gonna leave early and I couldn't.
What
Yeah,
was it?
it was pretty intense.
It was,
So earlier in the day, we did kind of talk about it. Earlier in the day, the Administrative Office of Courts worked out a deal with a lot of you could petition to get money to bring in something to work a collaborative effort with other therapeutic courts. So we invited Whitman County, even though Adams doesn't have one, we invited them. Franklin County, we invited Benton County, and I think Kittitas County. I think we had about 3 different counties who showed up. And then we got Ryan Leaf to talk at that. So he had been with us all day, well, noon to about 4. And then I asked him how much extra would it be to come talk to the community. And so we got it all worked out. So I think we got about 144 tickets spoken for, which comfortably is about what that place holds. So I think not as many showed up who bought a ticket, or it was free. It was who at least registered for a ticket, but I would guess there was 100 people there.
that was good.
Yeah, it was really good. So his story is a lot different than most, where he never really was an addict until after he lost everything, lost his competition. So,
Yeah.
But he was really good. We had a good session. We really cooperate court-wise with Benton County and Franklin. So having them there for the collaborative event was really good. We went 3 straight hours, and it was just really good because we bounce ideas off each other. We send people to treatment in our areas, and things like that. So I wasn't sure anything was on the agenda today, but so that's why I'm here. So
It's whatever you want.
we're struggling. The case management system, we're in week 2, so the girls are learning. I think it's gonna be okay. The judges have it easy. We just kind of look at stuff, but there's this big transition of new and old. So everyone who gets arrested now with something new has a new case number that we've never seen before. So it's a case number that doesn't link to actually the citation that the officer gives. So it's a little confusing, but that's the way the whole Washington State is going to work eventually. But if it's an older case that came before the system's updated, we just use the old case number. So, but you have to look about 3 different places now to find everything you need. But all the new stuff will be on the new system. And so far, at least for the judges, it's been pretty good. The clerks are learning the system and starting to adapt. Caitlin would never know what I'm talking about, maybe. But I mean, literally, the system that we were using was a DOS-based system.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So,
I'm surprised it still even works.
yeah, it works pretty good considering, how long it's been around. Because I think it started in the 70s. I think Grant County started using it late 80s, early 90s. So that's all input based, and you just, type away. Everything else is now click and point. hopefully select the right box, so. But I know that they're really going through a lot, but they're also e-filing everything too now, so that means there'll be no more paper. So we're gonna have to cut that off this week, because I think that's what they're, so the administrative office courts have been here helping clerks all last week. I think they're here for 3 days this week, and then the Band-Aid is ripped off. We're all on our own, so. But the state is forcing it to get done. We are round 2 of people that are getting involved with this. The final round is next year, and then every county will have it unless they buy their own system or pay for their own system. So I don't know much else.
Else going okay? District court?
Yeah, I think so.
How many judges do you guys have?
We have 3.
New ones? You know, that are gonna run?
3.5. We have 3 and a commissioner, so. We just did a study about whether or not we need more. I don't know if that means we need more or less. It depends on how the study turned out, so. And the study all depended on judges being honest, so we'll see how that goes. So we had to, for 5 weeks straight, track every minute of my time if I was doing a judge thing. So it was not
Sounds like
fun.
we're gonna be doing that with our time cards,
Yeah,
phone calls in the evenings or text messages or whatever.
yeah. It's pretty amazing how much your time is used up. I know I was talking to you the other day about, just sitting down and here comes a phone call. Yeah, you don't factor that in until you actually factor it in. Then it's like, oh, wow, yeah, spent a lot of time.
Yep.
I don't know much else.
All right, well, if nobody has anything else, and we'll go on a recess.
You guys have any questions? I didn't know if Desiree, I was just showed up to see if, I haven't seen Desiree for like 5 days, 6 days, 7 days.
She's in training.
Yeah,
She's learning.
it's been rough. She has a big whiteboard about double the size of that TV that she puts all the questions and things that we need to figure out, because we're used to doing things like a certain way. And then it has to interlink with the prosecutor's office, the defense, the jail. So just learning new things, new processes. And then we'll add the jail to it here pretty soon. So,
It's gonna be a lot.
yeah. But so far, the girls are doing a good job. Girls and our one guy. Yeah, we have one guy too. So the probation too is all different a little bit. They've done a program similar to that, but probation should catch on a little bit quicker than everyone else because they've had a similar program. But hopefully it'll all take off here and we'll be good. So.
You're gonna be done by the end of this week, is that what you said?
Well, they're done with the training part. I think the only thing you got after that is like a hotline or questions that you send in. And I don't know how well that will be attended.
Right.
The problem is this system is most every small county or small municipality, well, a third of them went to this last year, but we're talking like Garfield County, Whitman County, like the smallest of the smallest to kind of learn the system. But as they were going through that, they were changing things over and over and over again. So they're still changing stuff. But I think the state says, you're not changing anything else. We're going with what we got. We got to get it done. So
Deal with it, right?
yeah. You get what you get. So anyway, that's it.
All right,
I don't know much else. So
go on to recess until 10:45 then.
all right,
Thank you, sir.
I'll let Desiree know.
It is 10:45 and we're here for a commissioner work session.
Morning.
Yes, very
Morning.
important people in the room.
The only basically request for you to come down was to discuss the Tuesday hearing that we might be doing an extension, or are we not? How you kind of want that meeting to go, since we don't have any public works time prior to that.
Well, that hearing is specific to vacating that portion of road.
Yeah.
So if we vacate it, then the gate is decided as well. So, I mean, it's up to the board, but that, if you want to extend it, but if you do vacate it, then we can't remove the gate. So if you'd like to consider that. I'd recommend extending it or voting no on vacating it.
Where do we stand legally?
For which part?
I mean, are we at risk legally if we don't?
She, in the vacation, we have a response from Barbara saying that she was okay with it, with the vacation. Trying to find it here. See, we're getting quite a file on this.
Didn't you guys say you met with Jacobson?
No,
No.
we haven't set that up yet. We just talked to him at the, it was last week sometime. It was mostly he and I talked. Jim participated a little bit as well, but he would like to meet with Cade on site.
And that
So,
was the reason for the extension.
yeah, and we can do that, but he leaves tomorrow for training the rest of the week, and we didn't have time today, so,
That's fine.
Maybe we should extend it then.
That was the idea behind the continuance, so that he'd be able to meet on site.
Yeah.
I didn't remember the details.
So, yeah, I mean, we probably should do that. That'll give you an opportunity to meet with them. And have you been out there at all?
Yeah, we drove by actually,
Thursday, right after we met with you,
Okay.
yeah,
because neither one of us had ever seen it, so.
Oh, okay.
yeah, and then, yeah, just drove by and more concerns with vehicles parked in front of the gate, so.
It was a
it
pickup
was
and a
adding up to
motorhome.
me,
I,
you know,
I experienced the same thing when I drove out there to take a look at it. In fact, I took a picture of it.
me too,
It's like,
As well.
uh,
I think the fire marshal needs the full picture.
yeah.
It's not, breakaway gate's not gonna do any good.
well, not when it's locked, double locked.
And
Vehicles in the way.
Yeah, and vehicles. Yeah, I mean, you essentially have to hook onto one of those vehicles and get it out of the way. And
so, I don't know, it's, of course, it's up to the board. If we can continue it, that would give us more time to talk to Mr. Jacobson. Because he did express some, actually his wife did express some safety concerns about opening it with ATVs driving on it. So
It's true anywhere.
I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm just saying that was,
But the ATVs are not allowed in that area,
No, but they're still using it.
so. Interesting.
yeah, and I don't know. I agreed to meet with them and bring our engineer with them. Like I said, at that time, I'd never even seen it, so I didn't think it was a bad idea at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. So what do you think, a week, 2 weeks?
Yeah, we can continue 2 weeks. That's our standard because we have to re-advertise for the continuance. So give me 3 weeks even. I think it'd be nice to have fire marshal or whoever go out also.
Okay.
I
Maybe
think all
even Jim.
three of you at the same time.
Just make the right decision, be done with it, not circle back 50 times.
Yeah. I agree.
We should probably do 3 weeks then, because we need to get the notice to the paper and they want that week in advance.
Yeah, that's what.
To advertise
yeah,
2
that's
weeks.
what She's gonna do.
I'll continue for 3 weeks.
June 2nd, which you have time for, and then you have a public works update the day before, so.
That'd be good.
That works.
Okay, any other questions for,
There's
Sure.
another one, but I don't know if you just want to talk about it offline, but it's basically you had two, what did you call? What's Tyler's position? You had 2 of them.
Interim,
Who was your previous one?
Bob
Bob
was saying,
Sandy, but he's
Is
retiring
there another
now.
one?
no, Bob,
There was another one though at some point that reviewed these recently, last summer.
Not Bob.
No, it wasn't
Talking about
Bob.
Juliana?
There's another guy,
Zach Washburn?
Zach.
Uh,
Oh,
Okay, so.
that was longer.
Well, it's 2025 summer.
yeah,
That's when the sign off is. But you have 2 projects on the same road, approved less than 1 month apart, one requiring full road improvement, the other not.
What 2 projects are you referring
is
to?
this on
I'll
C,
show
Rob?
you them all.
Are you talking about C?
I don't know what road it's on.
Because if it's the road improvement district, that's
It's
very
not a road
different.
improvement district,
It's a
no.
different project.
It's 2 different
Okay.
projects,
Oh,
like
okay.
Mose Lake Vision and another one.
Vision.
So I just would like to go over that because one's developing no road improvement requirements. The other one can't develop until road improvements are done. And road improvements benefit the one that wasn't required.
The one by Zach would be the one I would not follow.
Well, no, we have to look at both of them
You gotta
because,
look at both of
yeah.
them.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying if you want a quick answer,
So we probably should look. at both.
depending on
Yeah.
who it is, that does make a difference.
Do we have parcels for them?
Yeah, I have everything.
Can you send it to us or do you want
Yeah.
to talk about it?
Yeah, I
or-
just wanna talk to you about it,
Okay.
but
Sounds like something that needs to be fixed.
and then also there is a resolution, I believe, or an agreement that there wasn't allowed for not doing the improvements on a previous project under a previous engineer. So we need to look at basically the three, come with a solution for the one.
Do you remember who signed the other one?
Dave signed that one. And that was the road, was the gravel road, through road out in May Valley area. I don't remember the road. I can pull it up. I just want to be able to go through those with you.
Okay.
Unwinds that.
I don't remember what the road was. I remember the guy coming in and throwing a big fit. But I don't remember the road.
Okay. Well, I'm, after, let's see, PMR's next, then the luncheon, then I don't think I have anything after lunch.
What do we have after lunch?
County Law and Justice Council.
I'm not doing that. So we're open after lunch?
Yes.
So one, maybe right after that. I can try to get the info in the next hour.
You available at 1,
Yeah,
Kate? Okay.
I'm good at one.
Do you have anything, Commissioner Burgess?
No, I think I'm good.
I have nothing as well.
Caitlin, you got anything?
EMR.
Then we'll go into recess until 11 o'clock. 10:53. Good morning, it's 11:01 and we are here for position management review. Good morning.
Good morning. We have 4 today. 3 coming from Public Works. They're all backfills today. So we have application program coordinator. This is the resignation from the employee in that position. So the department is asking to backfill that one. Second one is heavy equipment operator 2. Ephrata location. And the third one is solid waste roadside litter pickup crew.
Pick another one?
No.
It's a backfill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're all backfills. So does the board have any questions? For any one of those positions?
What's the heavy equipment operator? Is that for the landfill or is it something else?
No, that's in the road district.
Road district for Ephrata.
That was an employee that transferred to the assessor's office, I believe, took a job with them.
Yeah, I heard you guys might be happy about that.
I did reach out to Mandy to see if they would be here soon for the meeting. She said no, they are in a DRS training for Tyler.
That might have been a good meeting for us to be in.
What for?
We'll save that one for offline.
No comment, right?
Sorry.
No comment.
We did get good news
Yes, road
today
district
though
three.
on other matters.
Yes,
You
road
did.
district 3 in
Oh,
It's
Quincy.
very exciting.
Yeah, so
Did you get that news too?
I did.
Oh.
Caitlin shared it, so it was very exciting.
Hey,
Took the liberty
hey,
to-
hey, hey. Took our
Our only thunder.
So if you don't have any questions for Andy, we'll release him to.
No, I think
Go
that's,
about
I
his
think it's working out
business.
pretty well.
What?
The litter pickup.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a weird little harebrained idea, and I think it's gone very well.
Well, the other thing is we're starting to track like hotspots, so to speak. So we might try to start, see if our deputy can control those areas.
Yeah, or put a game camera.
Specific areas now, and maybe
I
we'll
can
get
tell you
some.
where there's a hot spot right now.
Yeah.
Off of Valley Road, the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, there's no shortage. It's a target-rich environment for litter. So
Yeah.
There's homeless people there.
it's what?
There's homeless people down there
Oh,
putting in a camp.
I wish I liked camping.
Should be cheaper.
It would be cheaper.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Andy.
Okay, the final position today is from Renew and DCL, and it's CLSA. This is a request to backfill 2 positions.
I'm fine with it.
I will
Do
bring
you have
up-
2025 end of the year budget numbers yet?
Accurate ones.
Yeah,
I have numbers, yes.
but not accurate.
They are not accurate.
I'm
What I
just being
looked,
curious, we're already in what? Middle
what I
of May,
briefly looked
so
in Tyler
it'd just be
today.
nice to know what our budget's looking like for 26.
Yeah,
That's a scary
so
thought.
I did
hard to
see
do
in
these
Tyler, there was an
positions.
upload
DSL's
to
outside
twenty
funding.
twenty-five. But I haven't received anything from her directly. And then 26, there are some things in there, but accurate, probably not, at least I'm hoping not. So, looking at that number, so. Some things are in there, yes. We're making progress slowly but surely. Okay, that's all I have for you.
That's it. Anything you got?
No,
Well, that was quick.
That was quick.
So I guess we're in break until noon.
sounds great. Get a couple laps in.
Okay, well, head out there and do your walking. We're gonna go into recess until noon. It is 12:12 and we are here for our quarterly elected official department head luncheon. So maybe keep it open.
While she does her training.
Thank you.
While they do their training.
Okay, you're ready.
So there were recently some updates to the paid family medical leave program. So in 2017, Washington State adopted its mandatory paid family and medical leave program, which provides paid leave to employees for various family and medical circumstances, including birth or placement of a child and care of family members with serious health issues. Local governments only have a handful of direct responsibilities under the PFML program, which include collecting employee premium payments, posting notices, and reporting employee wages/hours to the Employment Security Department, or ESD. Local governments have several obligations, including providing employees with job protection while on PFML. Previously, only employers with more than 50 employees were required to provide job protection for the duration of the employee's PFML leave. In this context, job protection means that the employee is entitled to be restored to the position that they held when the leave began, or to an equivalent position with equivalent benefits, pay, and other terms and conditions of employment. Under the new law, smaller local governments must provide job protection to their employees by the following deadlines. So in 2026, employers with 25 or more employees are required to provide job protection. In 2027, employers with 15 or more employees will have to start providing job protection. And then in 2028, employers with 8 or more employees are required to provide job protection. The length of employment required for job protection has also changed. Effective January 1 of this year, employees who have worked for their current employer for at least 180 days qualify for protection. 180 days is 6 months. The previous standard was 1,250 hours.
So when you say worked for at least 180 days, you're talking about 180 days or 6 months, those are two different numbers.
180 days is what the
So,
law
so that'd
says.
be, a lot more weeks than 6 months. Or it's 6 months,
It's 180 consecutive days.
because if you're only working 5 days a week.
Yeah,
But-
no.
Yeah, 6 months.
It's a great question for you to ask the state, because that's how they defined it.
The legislature this year also addressed what has been referred to as stacking of leave, where an employee would take leave under FMLA, that's the Federal Family Medical Leave Act, which is 12 weeks, without invoking their benefits under the PFML program, and then would later take PFML for the same or a different reason. Has anybody encountered that with your staff? Yeah, so they take 12 weeks of FMLA for, let's say, birth of a child, use their FMLA, and then start their PFML for the same reason, which is another 12 weeks.
It's super awesome.
Yeah.
24 weeks without an employee. Who can manage that realistically?
Done it.
4 weeks to establish.
But it was
a
tough,
good-
right? Not having the person.
You just suck it up and do it.
Well, but it's tough.
Even what if there's more than one?
Good for
Absolutely.
families. Very
Happened a few times.
While state law requires that PFML run concurrently with FMLA leave, employees cannot be required to take the PFML. Thus, it is possible for an employee to stack their leave by first taking unpaid FMLA leave and then taking paid, and then taking PFML leave. Since the employer cannot require the employee to take PFML first, the leave would run consecutively, not concurrently, resulting, as the court said, as a potential of 24 weeks of employment protection rather than just 12 weeks if the leave was taken concurrently. However, the opposite cannot be true. If the employee chooses to take PFML first, the FMLA leave runs concurrently, not consecutively, unless the employer's policy allows it and ours does.
Isn't part of the issue also that it takes a while for the state to approve PFML? So maybe the employee wasn't intentionally trying to stack, but because they take FMLA, but then the PFML wouldn't kick in for like 6 weeks later, then they did stack on the back end of it.
Yeah, it's a good question. The reality from what we've seen when people apply for PFML is that the state goes back retroactively. So even though I submit my application 2 months into my event, the state does go back to January 1st or whenever that first day was. And so, not necessarily.
Thanks.
To address this, the legislature extended employment protection to any period of unpaid FMLA where the employee was eligible for PFML but did not use it. I'm going to say that one more time. To address this, the legislature extended employment protection to any period of unpaid FMLA leave where the employee was eligible for PFML but did not use it. While this doesn't prohibit the stacking of leave, it does provide a disincentive to stacking leave because the stacked leave is no longer fully protected. The bill report explains this as follows. A mechanism for addressing stacking of certain employment protection benefits is established. Employment protection is extended to any period of unpaid leave protected by the FMLA, where the employee was eligible for PFML benefits, but did not apply for and receive those benefits, so long as the employer provides certain written notices to the employee. The written notices must include certain elements identified in the bill, including that the leave is counting against any permitted period of unemployment protection under the PFML program and the FMLA, and that the use of unpaid leave does not affect the employee's eligibility for the benefits in the PFML program. Maximum periods of employment protection are established, except by written agreement between the employer and the employee or bargaining unit. The employee forfeits the right to employment restoration if the employee does not exercise it upon the earlier of the first scheduled workday following the period of leave, or the first scheduled workday following a continuous period of, or a combined intermittent periods of a total of 16 typical work weeks of leave taken during the first 52, it's really technical, so I'm gonna skip this, but essentially, the state is saying that employers can run the protected PFML alongside the FMLA as long as we're providing the proper notices. And so HR has done a lot of work in creating those notices and sending out those notices when the leave will run concurrently so that we can run job protected leave under PFML and FMLA consecutively. If somebody doesn't want to exercise their PFML rights and chooses to extend it, wait, and qualifies for the same reason, that period of time that they're on PFML is no longer job protected, which means that department heads and elected officials will have to make a determination as to whether they can allow their employees to be out for that long. Now that's a lot to cover and a lot to digest, but what kind of questions do you guys have so far?
So in matter of disclosure from the employee, so you're saying if they wait until the first day after the first one runs out and then wants to take the next one, how many days notice of disclosure do they have? Is it gonna be just disclosed on the first day they come back?
Well, the notice that the employee is going to receive is from HR is going to say, you qualify for FMLA, here's all of your FMLA paperwork. You also qualify for PFML, and your PFML will run consecutive, or concurrently, thank you. Will run concurrently with your PFML benefits. If you choose not to take your PFML benefits alongside your FMLA and you use it later, it's not job protected. What other questions? Or scenarios?
So they're running it, are they required to use up their sick and annual leave?
Yes, our policy states that when you're on FMLA, you will use your sick leave.
And so then the rest is unpaid except for they still get benefits.
Correct.
And do they have to pay for benefits or still get employer paid benefits?
They do.
Yes.
Except for whatever you had deducted from your check, you would have to pay that amount
Yes.
Yes.
per pay period.
Yes. That is the employee contribution. So that's still gonna be required. So if you're not in job protection, that means we cut off your benefits. That means you're in leave without pay status, which means that you're responsible for the full premium amount plus the 2% administrative fee, and that's a lot of money. Also, we're gonna be asking department heads and elected officials, if your employee chooses to wait and use a PFML later, that's also gonna be in leave without pay status, which means that you only have according to our policy as it reads today, has the authority to approve up to 2 weeks. After that, it's gonna be the commissioners, up to the commissioners, whether they will approve somebody to be gone for that. So it's gonna change our process significantly. I think the more education we give to staff and the more education you guys have, it will help the employee understand what all of this means and how it affects them. And so we've already started those conversations with staff who have been applying or have a foreseeable event coming up. They're gonna get notices from HR that says the same thing.
So on that note, department heads and electeds are gonna have to make a difficult decision. If somebody chooses to take, they've ran out of their FMLA, that protective leave. They then take their PFML, which is now no longer protected because we've ran them concurrently. So they might have more time at the end. They will run out of the protection and then leave without pay. Do you keep them on leave without pay? Or do you say, I'm sorry, I can't do that? So we currently have a couple of employees in the county who have used all of their FMLA. They aren't protected at all. And the department head is gonna have to make the decision on, do I give them 2 weeks under the department head's authority? Or do I let it go to the board for longer? And that is a significant amount of time to not have an employee there. So the difficult conversation will be as a department head or an elected of, I may have to replace you. And you won't have a job to come back to if you're not protected. The employee then would have to make the difficult decision of whether they wait to have a surgery. Now, if it's life-threatening, we're all gonna do what we need to do to protect people, but, you know, optional surgeries, they may choose to wait.
A good example of that is, we have a case right now where the person has used all their FMLA, has applied for PFML after the fact, and wanted to take 3 months in the summer off. Well, that's not job protected. So they were informed of that, they were given the notice, and their leave dates changed because they want to continue to work, they want to continue to get their benefits, so they've changed what their original plan was. The intent is to still give employees time off, but we can't have somebody out for 6 months. It's not feasible, and the legislature acknowledged that and put in these protections so that we can mitigate that a little bit better than we were before. This slide just talks about the maintenance of health coverage. Under the new law, everybody's, if they're in job protection, they are entitled to the maintenance of health care coverage. So as Daryl was saying, that's gonna be your premium amount that comes out of your paycheck every pay period. Employees will still be responsible for that under PFML job protected leave. This slide talks about the notices. There is time requirements that are built into the law. So we have to give notices, how the leave will count towards job protection, defining the 12-month period. Ours is a rolling calendar year. How much job protection time is left, and confirmation that PFML benefit eligibility is unaffected. This notice has to be given to the employee within 5 business days, or start and at least monthly during the 12-month FMLA leave year. So again, it's a lot to digest. The law is new, and so if you guys have questions or want to talk through any scenarios, feel free to reach out to us. Krista in our office is the one that manages it currently, but any one of us are available to help answer questions and or go through scenarios with you and your staff if you like. Any other questions? Yes.
So it seems like we're leaving it up to department heads, that becomes a very individual process. I just wonder what kind of risk that leads the county, because I think many of us would make a different individual decision based on individual that needs support or help. So I'm talking about this with my team, and we're kind of more in agreement that we're not gonna allow leave without pay. Like once someone's entered that status, that's just gonna be our standard. Because that takes away that setting a precedent, it takes away the individual subjectivity, unless there's like some kind of catastrophic event. And so I'm just wondering, as a county, do we wanna look at it as more of a standard of like, we're just not gonna do that, versus allowing us to just have individual decision-making authority? I don't know, I struggle with that.
And I think you bring up a fair point, Val, in that everybody has autonomy and authority, especially our elected officials. There's a best practice, there's a recommendation, but ultimately, we can't force that. If Brandon wants to allow somebody to be gone for a year, I can't force him to make a different decision. Department heads, I think, have a little bit, we follow county policies and it is more strict in that way. So I think Decora's, and reframe this if I'm misunderstanding this, but I think the intent is to have the conversation. And we will help you make an informed decision. And if that's the standard that you set for your department and your office, then that's what your recommendation will be. And that's what we'll go to the board with. that's what we'll tell the employee. If a different elected or a different department wants a slightly different process, we will work with you on that. I think all we're trying to say is that PFML is no longer job protected, which means that we're all gonna have to make some difficult decisions about what we will allow and how long we're gonna let staff be on. And I think once you have that conversation, staff will change their mind. I mean, case in point, this person who was like, oh, I didn't realize that I couldn't take 3 months off. They can, but it's not job protected. So you're gonna owe like $3,000 every month for your medical benefits, not doing it. So I'm just gonna take these days, and it's not in leave without pay, you know, they're gonna be in leave without pay status, but it's 3 days, it's within the department's discretion. So I think that's how it's gonna go. I doubt you're gonna get anybody that's like, no, I'm gonna take my 3 months, and I just don't think that, personally, I don't think we're gonna have those different conversations, but just.
Well,
I do like the consistency, your thought process of having it consistent across the board. I just don't know how doable that is when departments, not versus, but lack of a better word, electeds who can choose to do things differently, so. Makes sense. But I like the consistency piece.
Well, actually, I think, in my personal opinion, department heads, I think the commissioners have the power to set the policy for that part. Unfortunately, it's elected officials that they don't have the power to do that for. But I think it's a lot easier on the department's head if you have that policy for the commissioners.
Yeah, and with the electeds, you know, we want it to be uniform, and we would encourage electeds to get on board. This is the least risk adverse path, and so that we are all doing the same thing. But it does require everybody understanding what it is, and then having that buy-in to say, yeah, I'm going to conform with this policy. Because unfortunately, right now, we do have some elected offices who are like, I'm not participating in that. And it's like, okay, so you will run this program, or whatever it is. You will do whatever it is. And that's just the reality of our structure. So partnership is important. We want to be able to talk through scenarios and situations so that everybody understands what it means and that we're being consistent, as consistent as we can be, given our environments. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Snapshot in the life of HR.
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
apparently I
Gina.
have something that I've been asked to present, so I guess I'll head over there. Maybe I'll leave it over here. So I sent you guys an email about an hour ago that has the policy in it, so because I didn't want to print a million copies because I didn't know you all would show up, and I thought that was very wasteful, so I do have a copy of the policy that I can reference here, if I can pass it around. It's all waiting in your mailbox for you, so. This is regarding the third-party applications that would be connected into things like Office 365 or Microsoft 365. So a little opening statement here, you're not paying for the product, you are the product, which also means your data and all that you have, which also means that your data and all the data for which you have given access to the third-party plugin also is the product that is being sold to unknown entities beyond the control of Grant County. What I sent out earlier today is the policy regarding third-party plug-in policy that require access to the county's internal systems. This policy was reviewed and approved by the risk manager and the civil attorney's prosecutor's office. So we're feeling pretty good to go with this. This is a TS policy that we're enacting for access to these types of things. The idea behind the policy was to limit risk to the county, to limit access to our internal data, to ensure that we've exhausted all possible other solution vectors that are known, available, and approved, to ensure that we are using the tools that Grant County is legally authorized to use. The county's network is considered an enterprise system. Most of the applications that we have denied thus far have been because of terms of service of the third-party plugin that were not allowed to be used in an enterprise environment. So because of the way we are, you just couldn't use it. Others were denied because they required explicitly far too invasive access to the county systems. Some of those determinations were not communicated sufficiently. For that, I apologize. This policy moving forward will help ensure the proper communication is conveyed moving forward. In the policy, I sent you earlier, section 5 is the part that most people will probably be focused on. It is the matrix by which we score the applications. And you'll see it, it's going to be looking like this. TS has the ability to authorize some of these. If it triggers some of these thresholds, it goes to civil. If they're liking it, it's done. So it's a pretty high bar on a lot of these, understand that. We're trying to limit access to things that people shouldn't have access to, especially things that are AI that creep in and take control of stuff. So that's kind of a huge deal. So section 10 is the references part that we used for coming up with this policy. It was the NIST Risk Management Framework, NIST SP 800-53 Rev 5, Security and Privacy Controls, NIST Vetting Security Mobile Applications, FBI CJIS Security Policy, Washington State Policy of Cybersecurity, and Microsoft 365 Governance. So those were the reference materials that we looked into that helped us develop this policy. And we are going to be reviewing this policy annually, end of Q1, because like January is like not happening. Everyone's January just sucks. So we'll wait till the end of Q1 before we review it again. And then if you guys are looking for a time frame, so the last page of this has a copy of the of what's going to be the form that goes for you guys to fill out. So if you guys put in an application or put in like a request, you're going to get an email back, and it's going to point you to a web form that's going to be in Laserfish that you can fill out this, and then we'll just run that through the ticket, and that way you get your resolution through the ticket, and then that's how people get informed, and they know the reasons why it was either approved or denied and all that good stuff. And Keith is going to use this as a training opportunity for Seth. They just got back from the Laserfish conference, and it's a pretty simple form. So hopefully they will have that ready for you by the end of the week. And I rushed through all that, and I feel really nervous. So
Can you give us a simple example?
simple example. I don't know. There's been half a dozen people in here, I'm sure, that have requested weird things. They go to a conference, they see something, they see an ad for a thing. It's like a widget that I can add to my Outlook that's going to solve all my ails and problems. And then we look at it like, yeah, no, that's stealing your information and giving it away to people. So we've been pretty aggressive about not authorizing access to these types of things, because data acquisition is bad. So that opening statement, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. We don't want to be anyone's product, not in that way. I mean, that's bad. So there's just been, I don't know, we see them come through every now and then we look at it, we're like, oh, you want that for your calendar. So if it wants your calendar, typically that wants your contact list. That means it goes out to every other person in the contact list. It uses your contact list to spam other people, to invite them to the same thing. We had one of these that we had to deny last year that had like serious bad juju attached to it. Like we had to go in and block stuff. Like it was evil. And I think a lot of you may have seen this at like conferences for government type related things. We're like, this is really cool. And we're like, no, that is like fire. That's bad. So yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like truly messed up. So sorry, not 100% prepared for this. So just struggling. Yes, sir.
Have you, or we as a county, thought about expanding our access to the 365 Office suite to get us more widgets and stuff so that these random requests don't keep coming in?
It's a money thing. So we can go to higher levels, like we're currently G3, we can go to G5. That is a substantial increase. I think it's between like 150, 200K extra per year for the county at this point. So if you can convince those guys up there that it's a really good idea, then we will certainly look into it. If you want to pay the offset for your elected office, we can give you guys that. You pay the difference because they've already approved what they've approved. Sure. So, I mean, that's one way of looking at it too. And we've offered that solution to the people in the past. which they go, yeah, no. No. They know about, so it's all good. I mean, we understand. Money is money, so.
Are the meeting recaps the devil? The meeting recaps, like if you're in a meeting like Zoom with somebody that you don't.
That was the one. It was
Okay.
one of those that like recap.
The
like,
note
meetings and
thing,
stuff.
yeah.
Is that, we're getting those like all the time,
Yes,
like every.
so that was the one. It was like super like, no,
Yeah.
no.
So they're the devil.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
those
They
are
are the devil.
specifically very, because you read through the terms of service of like, you have to like give access to like, it was like a laundry list of things that you just gave blanket authority to. We're like, no, it's bad. It was the Zoom one, it was bad. Yeah, it was the Zoom one specifically.
Zoom
It was
note
super
taker.
bad. So, yeah, thank you. That was for a good reminder.
Helping you out.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yes, the devil.
The devil. Evil, so evil, even from evil. That's the fruits of the devil.
You did great.
All right, cool, awesome.
Thanks, Phil.
You guys need anything else? Like, we good?
We're good.
All right.
We need to give him a clap. Let's give him a clap. There we
The expanded version of that, like what you actually have.
Yay.
The expanded version of the Adobe Acrobat, that would be fine. That's actually a product that we already have. You kind of pinned down, so whoever's gonna take it.
In all fairness, this process was.
First is we may know out the gate or we already do know, so some things we would prefer to do, we know that are already pre-that. So the ones we don't know.
Yeah.
Gotta move on.
You're trying to our new person, and
Yes.
then,
Oh, no,
and then Susie, you're gonna be after.
For what?
We're introducing our new
Introduction.
people,
Oh, okay.
since everybody's here.
Your presentation.
But for those of you who have not met him, this is the county's new engineer, Cade Egbert. We'll test our names later, not a big deal though.
Okay,
Here's a fun fact.
fun fact on the spot.
Yes.
I broke my femur. That's it's a tough one to do. A spiral fracture wrestling.
Oh.
I had the 4 pins out of my leg, everything, and that's probably why my left leg's slightly longer than my right leg, and I have hip problems now. It wasn't fun. It was when I was in first grade, so it was really young. So
Wow.
I remember looking at my leg, passed out, woke up in the hospital, passed out again, and I switched to basketball. So
We have fun with him being a New England Patriots fan.
that's a fun one.
You just
I
lost
almost
points.
wore my jersey here, but figured that wanted to walk away alive. So
Let people get some first.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we have Kim Pope here. She's taken on the Director of Kids Hope and New Hope effective last week, and I'm out this week. So this is Kim Pope.
I'm not. Yeah, I can't top that. There's just absolutely no way. Fun fact, my husband and I are on a quest for the best bacon cheeseburger in the Pacific Northwest. He has a Harley. I ride on the back because it's very important to take photos, let him know if the deer are out. I have a very important job, not driving it. But yeah, that's what we do on nice days.
Where's the best burger so far?
So far, probably Lakeview and Chelan. They have to be a dive.
Yeah.
Dayton, where did you send us to one?
Dayton, I think, yeah.
Up by Suncadia, there's a bowl number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is the best
Oh.
bacon cheeseburger.
Well, Twin Pines is really nice. So that's one of the favorites too.
Okay. Her email address is kpope, so you could send her recommendations.
Yes, yes.
So you got some news too, Darryl?
Well, yeah, now that funds are sober, I'm officially now gonna announce that I am retiring. Last day will be June 30th. And we have a meeting that day. finance meeting, so. So now I can officially send it to HR. Let you know whatever process is going to start there. Also, fun fact,
Yes.
I'll take one. I was a roadie for the Grateful Dead.
Oh,
No
wow.
way.
That tracks.
That actually makes so much sense.
One show, and it was the hardest job I ever had. And it's those, with all, how much heavy equipment it is and bringing it in, but I was just a couple feet away from Jerry Garcia at a moment in time.
Oh, neat.
I know.
That may have been the coolest thing you've ever said.
Right there.
Carol, you didn't inhale, did you? Just checking.
No, but they better speaks afterward and didn't pay us because it was one of the lowest attended concerts they ever had.
Oh, wow.
In addition to Daryl's resignation, we did receive Michelle Jadelin's for June 30th also today.
And on that note, I need people who are willing to train at future luncheons. So if you have a training that you are willing to do, or if you have a training that you want to hear from somebody else and you would like to volunteer them, please email me. So that way it is not 2 weeks before the luncheon and I'm trying to find out who's gonna teach stuff. I would really appreciate it.
Oh, also, it's right in Little June is the next play, our trip to Bountiful, and actually that's why I'm growing this is because I have a part as a sheriff, a Texas sheriff in the 40s in that show, and he wanted me to scruffy. I'm just growing out until he tells me it's scruffy, then I know how many days it took, shaving it off, and then quick start again those days before the show.
Just keep it trimmed.
I just, no, I can't stand this.
Once you get past a certain point, Daryl, it's all good.
All right. We're starting till 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. It is 1 o'clock. I'm here for our Grant County Law and Justice Council meeting. Welcome, everyone. Who's gonna run this meeting? Brad, you running it, or?
Am I doing that?
No, you guys need to elect a chair and a vice chair.
Oh, that's all right. Who's not here?
Superior Court.
I am curious, who has been to one of these before? This is new.
Same.
Oh, there we go. She was
So we actually have a few people.
I know.
Historically speaking, I just was brought up to speed on this, so this is something that we need to do, so. There's actually a statute about it, which I thought was fun. And so historically, how things ran, we run this like Robert's law. Rules of order and all this stuff. Who's our parliamentarian?
Well, people are leaving. Take us out.
Here we go. The last one I attended, to be fair, was like 2012.
Oh, yeah, sorry, the last actual meeting of the Law and Justice Council was 2023, and I believe you were there for that one.
Oh,
but
okay. It was memorable,
New
Caitlin.
Hope is not a
Required.
voting, yeah, it's not a required voting member of the Law and Justice Council. So while your attendance is so appreciated, unfortunately, Susie, for the 4 days that she's left, cannot be the chair or the vice
And I
chair.
believe the treasurer's office is probably not a non-voted office, but they're there in case you have the money side of the equation question. And that's why I had Carrie come today to be here for the future.
That
So Caitlin, who can be the chair and the vice chair?
It can be any of the members of the council, so you have the chair of the county commissioners, Gray County Sheriff, the prosecutor, representative of the municipal police departments, which we technically do not have an appointed one yet. We are waiting on the recommendation of the Association of Grant County Cities and Towns. However, Cook is here. Representative of the city legislative authorities, Superior Court Judge, District Court Judge, County Clerk, the Risk Manager, Secretary of Corrections, Administrator of Juvenile Court Services, and then the Chief Corrections Officer of the Grant County Jail. Their Secretary of Corrections is Gonzalez. Actually, is online. I don't remember what. Jennifer Gonzalez is the Secretary of Corrections.
DOC.
Yes.
Based on the resolution that was passed, it looks like our goals or jobs or tasks, I just had it. Research, coordinate, plan, and respond to requested directions from the commissioners as an advisory board to the Board of County Commissioners regarding law and justice concerns in the county. And that we will structure the council as follows. All meetings of the council shall be covered by the latest edition of the Robert's Rule of Order. The quorum shall consist of 50% positions on council. And the council shall organize and elect a chair at the first meeting scheduled after the selection of the complete council and after the commissioners have been advised of the selection. The chairperson shall call a periodic meeting of the Law and Justice Council in order to develop a law and justice plan.
So
like our overarching goal.
I believe what triggered our 23 meeting was putting on the ballot the law and justice tax. Back then, of which we wanted to make sure all voices were heard, even though it had a defined purpose, and also the voices of the impacts of such money, especially when it went to the cities and how they spent it and how it impacted all of their offices. So one of the things was to give you a chance to have a voice in that. Whether you were able to get budget increases or anything else because of that, well, is a whole different thing.
So it looks like we just have to start off first by electing a chair and vice chair.
Correct. So either someone can volunteer or someone can make a motion to appoint.
Make a motion to nominate Brandon
Yes.
the chair.
I'll second. For discussion purposes.
For discussion, yes. I think that is the next step. Is there any discussion? Or is there?
I'll third it.
Okay.
You have a motion and a second
We have
to
to
elect
vote.
Brandon Grunsey as the chair of the council. If there's no further discussion, then I, as the clerk, will call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now you
Step
need,
one down. Now we need a vice chair.
I gotta go to juvie.
We
do.
So I think since Blair nominated Brandon, I think he should be the co-chair.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I will second that.
That's fair.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Blair, you're it.
All right, that's fair.
I'm gonna remind her that the chair should probably be the one calling the.
Oh crap. Okay, you're right.
Oh, that's right, we did just vote.
Just happened. We're just gonna pretend like I did that.
I thought we were gonna do over.
Okay, fine, we'll do it over. Is there any discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome aboard, buddy. Agenda review. Do we have one of those?
Yes, the agenda that I emailed out prior. I can make copies if you'd like me to make copies. I have a printed copy here.
That's what I have in front of me.
Yes. You should probably call for a motion to approve the agenda.
Yes, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
The second,
I'll second.
are there any discussion about that? All in favor?
Aye.
Or any opposed? That motion passes. Raising energy level. Introduction of guests. Is that all of us?
Typically, that would be if you have somebody who's not on the council that is in the room. Our humble clerk recommends that since you have a new employee of Grant County in the room, that perhaps you guys should introduce yourselves so she can be familiar. But that is
pretty humble.
So technically, the treasurer's is a guest, and then I have Carrie Heston to be a guest of this meeting.
I'm Susie Fody with New Hope and Kids Hope and the new director of New Hope and Kids Hope, Kim Pope.
I don't have to say a fun fact this time,
No, no.
right? You got my one.
We'll spice it up next time.
I'm Judge Nick Wallace from District Court. With me is the Court Administrator Desiree Ochocinski.
Kim Allen, Grant County Clerk.
Soya Palacios, Juvenile Court Administrator.
Anna Gelati, Superior Court.
Dale Anderson, Executive Director at Renew, be your mouth.
Eric Good, Police Department.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Carrie Heston. I'm with the Treasurer's Office.
Welcome. Thank you. Is there any public comments? Or are there any public comments?
We have one attendee online, an iPhone guest. So iPhone guest, I have given you the ability to unmute if you have any public comment for the Law and Justice Council.
I do not, thank you.
Madam. Okay, good. Madam Clerk, it looks like you are up for reviewing the resolution.
Yes, so I distributed the resolution with the agenda in the email inviting you guys all here. The resolution currently reads that you guys will meet a minimum of 2 times per year. Obviously, that has not been happening. And I believe that how this was managed in the past is that the meetings were just called as needed, and there was not any follow through on the not less than twice a year idea. My recommendation for the Law and Justice Council, since we are getting ready to make a large move into a new jail, there's a discussion about the new 0.1% tax. My recommendation would be to set a regular meeting time so you guys can expect to be here, can plan to be here. And the recommendation I had for that was once per quarter, immediately following the elected officials' department heads quarterly luncheon, since most of you guys would be here for it anyways.
I think that would work. Yeah. I will send calendar invites.
Your clerk will send calendar invites.
Yes, that's the spirit.
I would also request for the record a motion approving that change.
I'll make a motion. We have quarterly meetings following the elected official department head luncheons.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
For new
Looks like you are up for new business.
Yes, I have two other things, and then there is actually something that was requested to be on the agenda that did not get added before I sent this out, so sorry. The first one is for additional required members, that would be the municipal police departments. So we are just waiting on a recommendation from the Association of Grant County Cities and Towns. That was the direction of the commissioners to reach out to them for that recommendation. I have not heard back. Their last meeting was last week, I believe. So I'll be reaching out to the president of that association for an update. And then we also need a representative of city legislative authorities. And both of the previous members who sat in those seats are either no longer with us or no longer with that organization. So that's why we don't have somebody currently filling in.
I believe the association was looking at that too.
Yep. And then the other bullet that I have under new business that I'm sure you guys will all love is that I would love for you guys to tell me who you would like your alternates to be on this council. So should you not be available at a council meeting, who I can expect to attend in your place. You don't have to decide right now, but I'll send an email out later this week. If you guys could just reply and let me know who you would like your designated alternate to be so I can make a note of it.
I can help you on that. For district court, it'll
Yes.
be Desiree Ochocinski.
For myself, it would be Carly Biddle. Not even gonna ask her.
I know, I'm in trouble.
And then the other thing, this was by the recommendation of Tom Gaines. He had asked to have on the agenda a discussion for the movement into the new jail with the courts. I know that's been something, feels like everybody's trying to get together to talk about it, and since you guys are all here now, here we are.
Yeah, I sent out an email, I think more than a month ago now. I had a few responses, not a ton, so I wasn't able to actually schedule the meeting. Tom sent out a pretty lengthy, I'll say, proposed plan. It had its issues, which I think was good. We just have to continue to work through them. So it was on my plan this morning to get another email sent out, but I didn't do that because we had a few people out. Not important, didn't get around to it. But I do plan to send another one out because I would like to sit down and have a conversation just about normal or basically day-to-day logistics on how transporting people to and from court, if that's necessary, will happen. And what systems we might need as a group to make sure that if we are moving in the realm of paperless, that we're all on the same page. And especially I think for someone like in my office, that I'm not running 5 different law offices, because that's super annoying. So I would love if we could try to have district court and superior court as close as possible in system management and processes, just so I don't have to download 18 different programs onto my computers for the people in my office. So it's just a matter, I think, of at this point of logistics. The last time I spoke with the sheriff, they have, I think, the certificate of occupancy already, if not in a couple of weeks. So I think that they're doing the transition first, just the sheriff's office, and then ultimately sometime July, August is when they're actually going to transfer the people in the jail to the new jail.
So it's not going to be an immediate issue with the paperwork and electronic filings and things like that, but it is still an issue that I'm concerned about because ultimately, my office for the most part is the keeper of the forms. And so if there are things like judgment sentences and things that need to be signed beforehand or prepped way beforehand, that I can not only train and get my deputies up to speed on when the best time to get all of that stuff done is, and so we're not last minute trying to get things signed. The problem is still in my mind of documents that need to be signed almost simultaneously. We've got somebody at the jail that's now a mile away. And a Superior Court where we just currently walking the documents down and having them sign it right there. District Court has had a pretty good success with scanning documents and sending it back and forth. One big pet peeve that I personally have is I think that that's still a waste of paper because I think we're generating 3 different documents for an ultimate 1 document that's done. And I think like a true world of electronic filings is that we eliminate as much paper as possible versus creating 5 different versions of it and just keep shredding. So
Concur.
that's my ultimate goal. So I'm trying to just get everybody kind of on the same page and identify all of the problems that might come up so that we can get ahead of it as much as possible. The problem is always all of us are so busy trying to get us all scheduled to be in the same room. I think just like District Court moving in with their new program, like there's going to be problems that none of us did foresee before, and we're just gonna have to kind of roll with the punches and do that. But expect this week again I'll probably just forward the same email I sent out and ask for some additional times to meet. Just so I think if we all just get in a room and stop operating under a bunch of assumptions of like, I think one of the assumptions right now, at least in my mind, is that there are either TS or the sheriff's office or both are thinking that we all have the same type of systems that we're running. Like that, for example, everyone in my office has Laserfish, and that's not the case. And so if they think that we can just do all of this under Laserfish, like that's not feasible. No, because not everybody has it. Yes, but we don't all have it.
They do now. I bought 500 licenses for everyone, but
They might have access to it, but we don't have it on our computer, so I don't know how to work it. Like that's where it's coming at, and it's just like it's that assumption is like people always think like, oh, because we have it, we're using it. And that's not the case.
Right.
Like I just need to make sure everybody has the Superior Court saying they don't have it. Or maybe they do have it and they just haven't
have the
access.
access to it.
And so it's just things like that I kind of just want to talk with everybody to figure out what all the systems that we have and figure out the best way to do it. If we're gonna be operating under a cloud type management where if I were to prepare a document and send it to defense, they were to review it, go with the client, we could have it in that same location and then have a judge access it later for the docket. Like, I just don't know what that would even look like or if it's possible. It seems like it could work, but it could also be a complete disaster.
We have some technology, some hardware that we just ordered that will allow remote signatures and incorporate that into what we're still trying to figure out how to make it work. But it'd be nice to have everybody together to talk about what technology everybody's using and try to come up with a global plan.
And then lastly, the last time I spoke with the public defender's office was Brett Hill that had been the only person that had gone over to the new jail to see it, and I found that to be a little scary, given that the public defenders are the ones that are going to be over at the jail more than anybody else. And so to get their perspective of problems that they foresee, just trying to get ahead of it as much as possible. Because the last time that, for example, when I spoke with Dave Bustamante, he was like, I don't even know how this is gonna work. So I would just prefer everybody to be at the courthouse. And when I talked to Joey, they were not planning on bringing people here very often.
So that's just. like a
We need to
problem.
have a discussion.
Yeah, so we have to have a discussion. because-
Definitely. Sorry.
Because I think that's probably, is all of us are operating under assumptions of how things could work. And I don't like to live life in a vacuum. And so, as much fun as it is in my own head, I think getting everybody together and just like laying all the cards out and saying, this is not gonna work, or this is how it could work, and see if we can get on the same page. So,
Unfortunately, that topic is a very legit topic that it should have been part of the process before the jail even started being built. You know.
yes, so I've been told several times, Daryl.
I just, but then another topic, not immediate, but also is for this group, is to decide on the repurposing of the old jail facility. We've been talking, the non-law and justice, been talking about how would be great to have all the courts, everything shifted over to that building and have everything close together. Well, that's, but it costs money to do that, but we have, the people who actually matter haven't been part of the discussion. You need to be part of that discussion if you foresee something that would be more efficient to have your offices in a different location. And if it is more efficient, there's a money side of it that we haven't figured out how to pay for. But yeah, those are the things that would be a future discussion for all courts, is what do you want to do? There's a lot of space over there. Gotta figure out purpose, get it used. My idea of a daycare isn't going far.
You already have that. It's not for kids.
I didn't say that. And that,
No, that's
yeah, this is what I've been worrying about is how this committee is supposed to be more involved with the jail facility.
Well, and back when Kevin McCrae was still here, he was the one that brought up the fact that there may be more hearings that the defendants will have to be brought here in person. And Joey was like, whatever we have to do, we'll do it. So, I mean, that seed was planted that people may have to be in person way back, so
And there
that
are-
shouldn't be a surprise to him.
Well, and then there will be times also for like when we have trials. We're gonna need people here. We get material witness warrants, we'll have to have people here. So it's not just gonna be a cell or two. We're gonna need.
Well, and he's gonna have to have staff here even for the out of custodies, because if they get taken into custody, what are the odds that they're gonna go from here to up there on their own?
100%.
Yeah.
I did a couple of weeks ago talk with them briefly just about what the procedure might look like if we needed someone here immediately. There would be some request email that we'd have to send to them. Right now, I think sometimes we take it for granted in that we know that the jail is just right there. So almost like 15 minutes before the hearing, we could just send an email and say, hey, bring them up, And that's just, I think that a lot of the things that we have taken for granted the last however many years, we're just gonna have to really sit back and think about better planning to get people here so that things don't get delayed. So, yeah. But that's a good point. We need to talk about another space.
I think there's been a lot of talk floating around about what the plan is for that, but I think that plan is different depending on who's being talked to, because I've heard 15 different versions of what the plan is over there, and they all sound almost promised to the people that they're talking to.
Are we talking about the jail itself?
More just the building. Yeah.
Because supposedly they're supposed to be putting all these light stations for public defenders over there, so I think you're sure sounded like they're expecting everything to happen over there. But, you know, just the district court facility in the original courthouse, there's issues. And it's just, in reality, it'd just be better to be a museum. But then there's a lot of stuff to happen to create the same environment, and there's a lot of space.
A lot of money involved.
Yes, to create something that fits everything, and it's just that, and then one on the second floor, and all this kind of stuff. And it's just, but it needs your input, and I don't know if anyone's been asked.
Somebody did. I attended a meeting once upon a time where we talked about retrofitting the other building, and Judge Gelati was there, I was there. We gave input about what we would need from a judicial perspective to kind of consolidate all the courts over there. And then I got an email back at some point that said, it's completely cost prohibitive, we're done. And so the discussion just ended at that point.
All I know is that to refurbish is not even part of the discussion. If there's a repurpose, not to be torn down and rebuilt. The rounded corners are not helpful.
Makes the most sense. I mean, if we're gonna spend money to do something, it makes the most sense that all the law and justice people are up next to the jail.
We're gonna rebuild as opposed to repurpose.
Unfortunately, we didn't, revenue coming in, we're talking tens of millions of dollars, so we don't have a revenue source to cover that. Unless someone decided to pay for the building. That would have been the optimum. We have the land. It's just not anytime soon.
So for the next meeting, hopefully we can. The two topics I'm hearing are procedures with the new jail facility, as well as what can happen with the current, which will be then hopefully. Is there anything else I need to add?
That's probably plenty.
Yeah.
Just those
That-
two.
That will take a lot.
Yeah, particularly the first one, the mechanics are gonna be rough.
If you have not had time to go through Tom Gaines's email that he had sent, I can re-forward it to everyone if you want, but by the time I got to page 3, I was like, okay, this is problems. So it needs to be at least looked at from a practicality standpoint of how we are running or how we could run things, just so we can all get on the same page and know what to expect.
My sense generally is that district court isn't gonna be as problematic as Superior Court. Particularly as we move towards the go paperless, and we get the technology in place where people can sign things remotely. Superior Court, different animal. Lots of different issues on clerking issues.
And it would be nice if the judges and their administrators all got together and resolved some things on their own, on the direction, instead of coming to a meeting with different ideas, if that could be done.
Possibly. It's just that inherently the courts are different animals. So we don't necessarily have the same sets of issues and the same sets of problems.
I'm talking about the distinction of the district court result, you know, if all of them can come to a common.
Oh, sure.
And then Superior Court come with their,
Got it.
because it's gonna be tough if you come in and you have more representatives and more with different ideas that conflict with each other.
Sure.
So it's like doing homework before the meeting.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else about that?
And if possible, it would be very nice to schedule a meeting when Sheriff Crete is available to have some input into this discussion.
Yes, and with the 2 times that were given. They were out last Monday, they were out this Monday, everybody else was available, so I just made the decision to schedule this. And it is recorded, it'll be posted on YouTube when the commissioners' meetings are posted, so they'll be able to watch the recording. And I'll distribute the minutes not too long after this. So they'll have the opportunity to review them in preparation for the meeting in August.
Perfect.
Caitlin, is anyone from TS on that list? Or for the next meeting, we should have somebody from TS here as well.
Yes. Yes.
What specifically are you wanting to talk to them about?
Since everything is, I say everything, since most things were probably going to be done electronically, it would be good to have a sense of what a possible workflow could even look like. If it's drop, let's just say hypothetically, we have a shared folder in the cloud that all of the parties that are going to be part of that particular hearing can have access to. I just think there's a whole lot of problems that can come up with that. Even people put something in a wrong folder or upload a wrong document. The amount of confidential things that all of us work with on different levels, I can just see it becoming some sort of disaster. So an actual workflow perspective from their end would be very helpful.
With public records, I don't know what will end up being subject to public records versus at some point in the future, and yeah.
Well, it's just, at some point, it stops becoming, there's a transition from becoming work product to finished product for court filings, which would then be public record. Right. And that's where my concern is. If we're working or sharing documents inside of this cloud, say a public defender uploads a guilty plea, emails me and says guilty plea is the next folder. I go in and look at it and generate a judgment sentence that's not yet been adopted yet by the court. Like all of that, I would consider to be work product between 2 attorneys negotiating a case for their client that probably a judge should not have access to at that moment.
Agreed.
And then at some point, it gets to be moved into an approved file folder for judicial review. What, a day or 2 before court? Or just, I mean, I don't know. We file proposed judgment sentences sometimes with the court, but it's just at some point, the document's going to be transformed from a work product to a judicial review document.
So if it's done in Laserfish, it's the workflow and depending on how it's done, once you approve it, it can go to the judge. And that's available to them to see it and put it in their box.
If you're filing before court though, now in district court, in theory, that's coming in via e-file.
All the more reason for the technology people to be here. I mean, the general criticism was that there wasn't enough voices taken into account when we built the thing up on the hill. Technology is an integral part of this going forward, so we should at least have some general parameters on what we can and cannot do technologically wise.
I want to keep here for that.
It depends on what portion, that's why I'm asking, it depends on what portion of it that you're wanting to talk about. If it's strictly Laserfish, or if Keith is the one that's been helping you with your digital document management, then yes, Keith would be the one to do it. But if it comes to implementation of different types of hardware or systems, then it'll probably be somebody else. So I mean, yes, Keith for workflow, but I mean, you may want Joe, Tom should be at the next one too.
Bring them all.
The 3 of them.
With the official direction of the chair.
Bring them all. We'll make use of the time.
Another, if I remember right, back then we were talking about drug court or whatever the official title is. This it's probably moved forward, but I don't know if it should still be a topic, or are we fully satisfied with everything that's set up on that?
Yeah, I can't think of a need to have therapeutic court here. because it's
Yeah.
outside of the jail. It doesn't involve the jail at all.
Well, I didn't look at this as strictly a jail
Oh,
council.
okay.
I was looking at it as a council of many law and
Because very
justice
bad tax money
areas.
could support those salaries if we lose grant funding.
Yeah. Sure, to the extent, I guess, the council, I guess I'm hesitant to take too many bites of this apple before we get the main goal addressed. But yeah, if nothing else, the council should be up to speed on what the therapeutic court is doing, what the impact it has in terms of number of bodies in jail, i.e. a reduction of bodies in jail theoretically. And then weighing that versus the cost to the taxpayer. What is the taxpayer paying for this therapeutic court? Is the juice worth the squeeze sort of concept? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that's well within the realm of what we're supposed to be looking at.
So you have the commissioners that are creating a resolution for the mental health tax, not automatically using their power to automatically pass it. This council has some part of that in regards to, I'm not sure. It has a lot of limitations on what you can do with the money, but it may have something that the Law and Justice Council also wants to hear what the goals are and see how that impacts their departments. Because the whole thing is someone's got to be selling that on the ballot. And better first know what the numbers are, what the revenues, expectations are, and what the budget's gonna look like for the purpose.
It could be, just a, for lack of a better word, accountability, kind of informational, how many people are in, what's the success rate.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Recidivism.
What can be expanded, what is something new, and new things can happen. And then, just like the jail should have been, making sure all the parties are at the table to have a chance to voice their impact if that passes. Right?
All right, how do we do now?
That's all I have on the agenda.
Yes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Oh, wait a minute, Daryl's.
No.
Oh.
I was sort of being diplomatic without saying it. I was just waiting. If you got that, then.
Okay.
Do I have to ask? I can't remember.
Yes.
It's been so long since
Yes,
I've
you
done
got a
this.
motion, I think you got a second. Right?
Then you would raise the, and you
Vote to adjourn, huh?
All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye. I might vote this time.
This is very fun.